Welcome back to Soulful Connections. We find ourselves at a very important time of year called the 3 weeks. Now, the 3 weeks is considered our period of national Jewish mourning, where we remember and mourn all of the calamities, persecution, pogroms, holocausts, and destruction that the Jewish people have faced for thousands of years. This period of time is sandwiched in by 2 fasts, the fast of the 17th of Tammuz and the fast of Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, which commemorates the destruction of our 2 holy temples in Yerushalayim. Now, there are many ideas that we can focus on with regards to how do we effectively approach this time of mourning. Do we walk around with feelings of sorrow, depressed, cry every day? Or are there other effective approaches that we could use to maximize the benefits of this time period? I'd like to share a very interesting story with you based from the Talmud. There is a story that Rabbi Akiva, our famous Jewish sage, went to visit the site of the Holy Temple with his sages, following its destruction. There, instead of a holy temple, lay ruins. What used to be the center point of the Jewish experience, where the whole nation could connect with Hashem, was no longer there. We were sent into exile, dispersed across the globe, disconnected from our internal connection and external connection to Hashem. When they came to this spot, the sages saw a fox at this exact site where the temple stood, and they burst into tears. This used to be the holiest site for our nation, for the Jewish nation, and now there's an animal running across it. Everyone was crying, except for Rabbi Akiva. He was laughing. It's a very interesting story, and the sages couldn't understand why Rabbi Akiva was laughing. And they asked him, "Why are you laughing? We're looking at the site where our holy temple used to be, and you're laughing? How can it be? You're such a holy sage, and you're laughing? How can we comprehend this?" Rabbi Akiva explained to them that there are 2 prophecies. The first prophecy was that the temple would be destroyed. And the second prophecy was that the temple would be rebuilt. A prophecy filled with hope and foresight and faith. Rabbi Akiva explained to them that the first prophecy had been fulfilled. So now he was focusing on the second prophecy, and he was sure that that would be fulfilled as well. There is a very important lesson for us in facing our own challenges, our own destruction. We all face an array of challenges constantly. Challenges within relationships, parenting challenges, career challenges, health challenges. Some of us have minor setbacks in life. Others have major setbacks in life. The question isn't what challenges we're faced with. The question is, what perspective are we going to take on facing these challenges? Are we going to look at the challenges and look at what could have been and what was and cry and walk around sorrowful? Or are we going to look at the challenges, recognize that they were there, recognize the challenge, and look to the future and know that this challenge is leading us to something greater? It's a very high level, and it's very hard to do in practice. But the story, this famous story that's mentioned in the Talmud, gives us foresight in how to face our own personal challenges. When we're faced with a challenge, which we all are, we need to look at it in 2 stages. The first stage is recognize the challenge, recognize the hardship, the persecution. Recognize the feelings and emotions that are attached to it. Because if we don't recognize those difficult emotions, then we bottle them up. And then they'll come out at another time in our life and have a more negative effect. We need to recognize the challenge. We need to recognize our emotions and our difficulties and struggle with this challenge. We need to cry. We need to feel sorrowful. But we also need to head into stage 2, into step 2 of facing the challenge, which is looking into the future with hope and foresight, and know that this challenge is only there to move us forward, move us into a greater time period, a greater space. And this is the lesson of Rabbi Akiva and the lesson of the 3 weeks. Yes, we mourn the calamities of our people nationwide, but we also mourn and recognize our own challenges, our own setbacks in life that we have faced and that we're currently facing. The lesson is very clear. There is a time to mourn, there is a time to cry, but there is also, even more importantly, a time to move forward, a time to make a plan, a time to be filled with hope, and to know that this too shall pass, this challenge shall pass, and will be led to a greater time and space. I want to wish you a good week ahead, and that this should be the last year that we mourn, and these days of mourning shall be filled and transformed into days